I thought I'd never get over her death, but it's made me 10 times stronger.
Hey crime addicts, and welcome back to another video. So today's video was actually given to me as an idea by a subscriber and also a really good high school friend of mine. Just a quick disclaimer, I don't own copyrights to any of the music that's playing in the background of my videos. I just thought that it'd be a good idea because I am storytelling and sometimes it gets really quiet and awkward. So I just kind of put a list together of different songs that I like right now. A lot of them are really slow. If you like any and you want the name and artist, just comment down below and I'll be more than glad to give it to you. I'm just testing it out. I don't know if I'll like it or not. So today's video is on the Silent Twins. I had never heard of it before and I read it and I couldn't stop reading it. It was really good. It's really interesting and very confusing. Let's go ahead and get started. June and Jennifer Gibson were identical twins. They were born April 11th of 1963. June and Jennifer, like I said, were identical twins, but they were known as the Silent Twins. And there's a reason why, and we'll jump into that. The reason why they were called that was because they could only communicate with each other.
People couldn't understand what you were saying.
A bit frustrating, we had to repeat ourselves more often. And then we couldn't be bothered to repeat ourselves, we didn't speak. We left it. And they kept saying, what are you saying? What are you saying? And we just say, oh, you can't hear us now, you can't hear us never. So we decided not to speak, and we got into a habit of not speaking.
If you know about identical twins, you know how crazy tight their bond can be. I couldn't even imagine what their bond was like. I'm gonna go ahead and just give you their personal background like I always do. They grew up in Wales, which is a country and a part of the United Kingdom. So June and Jennifer were the daughters of Caribbean immigrants Gloria and Aubrey Gibbons. Gloria was a housewife. She stayed home with the kids. Aubrey worked as a technician for the Royal Air Force. Their bond was so tight that they were inseparable. So automatically, the language that the girls spoke was very fast-paced. Okay, when you speak it, it's super fast, hard to understand. It made it very difficult for people to understand them. So the twins being the only Black children that attended the school that they went to was very traumatic for them. In fact, the principal of the school actually had to allow the twins to leave early to avoid bullying. Over time, with all that's going on, with the girls going to school and it being so hard for them, their language becomes even harder to understand until eventually it's actually unintelligible to others. So absolutely nobody can understand them except for the twins themselves. So it got to be so bad that the twins actually mirrored each other perfectly. So they would walk the same, they would make the same movements. Like, it literally was as if you were looking in a mirror. They became increasingly reserved and they only spoke to each other and their little sister Rose. So the twins continued to attend school but refused to read or write. So once the principal and the teachers realized that it's not getting better, in fact it's actually getting worse, they contact a child psychiatrist. And during their sessions, really the ultimate goal is to try and get the twins to communicate with others except for themselves, which of course the psychiatrist was not successful at all. Once they realized that the psychiatrist is unsuccessful, they actually decide to split the twins up completely, which isn't a good idea at all, especially with how tight that their bond was.
It would be a good idea if we separate. I think one should go and one should stay here. We act stupid when we're together. Some people think we don't want to separate, but we want to, because it really is the best thing for us.
It would be good if we separate. We both fight for the best things. We're both willing to lead our own lives, but when we're together, we just keep depending on each other.
It's like they walk the same way, they eat the same way. They spoke the same way, only to each other, and you're going to break that up, which actually was not a good idea, because while the twins were away from each other, they actually wouldn't eat, they wouldn't sleep. when they realized that that didn't work and it was actually worse when they were apart, they were in fact put back together. The two spent several years isolating themselves in their bedroom. They wouldn't go out of their room to do anything. So the twins actually loved writing. They would write stories, they would give them to their little sister, they would actually read them to her. And then on Christmas of 1979, they began their writing careers. They sent away for a mail order course in creative writing. They actually kept an extensive amount of writings, diaries, a whole number of stories, poems, novels, and surprisingly, their stories always involved young men and women who exhibited strange and very criminal behavior. So later into the teenager years of the twins, they began experimenting with drugs and alcohol. In 1981, the girls committed a number of crimes including vandalism, petty theft, and arson. And this led to them being admitted into the Broadmoor Hospital, a highly secure mental hospital. And they actually remained in this hospital for 11 years. So they're there for 11 years, and then finally the hospital decides to not release them but transfer them to another hospital. Get this, okay? The twins actually had a pact that if one of them died, that the other had to move on with life, start talking, start living a normal life without the other twin. During that pact, as they're communicating and talking about it, they actually realize that it's necessary for one of the twins to die. And then after that discussion, Jennifer agrees to make the sacrifice of her life. Okay, it was in March of 1993 that the girls get transferred to the new hospital. Upon arrival, Jennifer could not be roused. She was taken to the hospital where she died soon after. I'm going to write down the cause of her death down below, and I'm not even going to say it because I'm going to mess it up. She died from inflammation of the heart. There was no evidence of drugs or poison in her system, and her death remains a mystery. June actually reveals that her sister was acting weird a day before they were released. She said that her speech had been slurred. June actually said that Jennifer said that she was dying. And on the trip to Coswell, which was the new hospital that they were being transferred to, June said that Jennifer slept in her lap with her eyes open. And June actually said, and I quote, "I'm free at last, liberated, and at last Jennifer has given up her life for me." After Jennifer's death, June gave multiple interviews. By 2008, she was living quietly and independently near her parents in West Wales. She was no longer monitored by a psychiatrist. She had been accepted by her community and sought to put the past behind her. I'll go play. I'm almost done recording. Okay, love you. So they wanted to file a lawsuit against the hospital, but Aubrey and Gloria, which were the twins' parents, refused, saying that it would not bring Jennifer back. So one of her sisters blamed the hospital itself for taking the life of Jennifer because they feel like it didn't help them. Personally, I agree with their parents because one, it's not going to bring Jennifer back, and two, you don't know really what happened. You don't know anything about the case. Her death is a mystery, so how can you be mad at the hospital? You know what I mean? We don't know what really happened, but do you know that the hospital killed her? Do you know if it was June? Do you know if it was... We don't know what it was, so how can you nitpick what you think happened? Now, as far as what I think happened or where my head is, I'm really confused because it takes you back to little things of the story being told. So if you remember when I was talking about how they made the pact, about how if one died, the other had to go on with their life, not mourn the loss, not do any of that, and just be okay with it and start living a normal life. That's not normal. That's not something that you should talk about. Why is you guys being extremely tight and having a relationship mean that one of you has to die? Why being twins and having that tight bond mean that you can only communicate with each other and not others? I don't truly understand the bond, but I get it. But why does that stop you from living your life with your twin here? why do you have to do it when the twin is gone? You know what I mean? That's kind of where my head is at. And then what sticks out the most to me is how after they make the pact and the discussion is over, Jennifer just automatically is like, it's fine, like I'm the one that's gonna die. Like, how do you decide that? And then not just that, you decide that and then she is the one to die. It sucks that we'll never know the answer to what really happened. Don't get me wrong, I'm really happy that June is out there living her life freely and she feels comfortable and she feels set free, but I just don't get it.
Do normal things that normal people do. I feel that I'm living for her. This is what she would have wanted, for me to go on living for her. And every day I wake up and say to myself, well, there's one more day for me, but one more day for my sister as well. And I'm still alive. I feel that's a privilege, really. I mean, am I lucky or something to be still alive when she's gone? I thought I'd never get over her death, but it's made me 10 times stronger.
And it's really confusing, and I don't think I'll ever understand it. We'll never understand it. We'll never really know what happened unless the truth just slips out one day. But until then, shout out to Nina for giving me the idea to do this video. I actually really liked it. It caught my attention. If I missed anything in the case itself, comment down below. Other than that, I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. I'm open to new case ideas and cases that I've never heard of. I like doing the research. I like reading about them. If you know any cases that you'd like to hear about or see on my channel, please comment down below. And thank you so much for your support. And like I always say, I appreciate you guys so much, and I'll see you in the next one.